Well, hey everyone, it's back. It's been a long minute, hasn't it been, HH?
Well, yeah, I mean it's a long minute, yeah. a
Happy
lot
happy
of minutes.
holidays, everyone. We're here on Double Impact. I'm John C. Morley, one of the co-hosts, and I'm here together with one, two, three, Hurricane H.
Today's
And together we make up one, two, Double Impact.
impact. That's it. I screwed that one. I messed that up. Well, listen,
So
it is what
I
it is.
gotta tell you something that was really funny. It's funny, but it's not if it happens to you. So I go hiking a lot. All right, anywhere from an hour to 3 hours. My shortest hike's usually 2.5 hours. And so I went on this hike, HH, and I come back to my car, and it's you're supposed to be out of there by 30 minutes after sundown. Well, sundown was 6:30. Okay, and I get to my car, HH, at 7:04. Right, there's no one else in the park. I get to my car, there's a police officer in the parking lot, right? I don't think anything of it, right? I'm figuring he's just making sure I'm okay. And I leave. There's nothing on my window. There's nothing, right? Guess what happens about a week ago? Guess what happened?
Well, I don't know.
Well, I get a notice telling me that they're going to give a warrant for my arrest. And I said, for what? Well, because I failed to appear on the ticket. What ticket? I never got a ticket. So the notice said that I have X days or they'll be issuing a warrant for my arrest. I think it was the day or two after Thanksgiving. What the bloody is this? So I'm like, first of all, what is this and where is it? So I started to read it, right? This thing that tells me it's the second violation. I'm like, and then I was charged an additional $25 for now being in contempt of court because I didn't appear the first time. By appearing, I didn't answer the plea. I never got the ticket. So I'm like, what did I get a ticket for? I didn't speed. Like, what did I do? So I read the notice, and it says, you're receiving this violation for being in an occupying an area in an unoccupied time. I'm like, what the heck is that all about?
Where is this?
This is in Bergen County, New Jersey.
No, no, but what's unoccupied, space? I mean, what is that? I mean, you're in
I'm going to
the
tell you. So
boondocks.
when I go hiking, I park in a parking lot, a public parking lot. There's a sign that says you need to be out of the park. The park closes 30 minutes after sunset. So sunset's now 6:30, so 7 o'clock, right? Well, I get to my car, right, at 7:04. All right, cops there doesn't say anything. Meanwhile, they're giving me a ticket, okay, for being 4 minutes late to my vehicle.
Well, is there a meter there?
No,
How do they know? So how do they know it's 4 minutes?
the
I mean,
park
it
closes
doesn't make
at
sense.
6:30, and you have till 7 o'clock. I didn't know it was like in stone like this. Now I'm more paranoid when I go there. I leave a lot earlier. So the ranger had called the police to tell him that I was in violation, that they couldn't close the gate because my
Oh,
car was still in the lot. And
I-
he never came up to me to say anything. He never said, sir, we're giving you a ticket. It's a warning. He never said boo to me. He just was there and he observed my vehicle. And I'm like, how'd they get all my information? He just scanned my license plate. And get this, I get the second one, which says they're going to come and arrest me. But the first one I never got. And so I'm like, this is nuts. So I pick up the phone and I call the municipal court and I said, I never speed, I never anything like this. And she's like, well, sir, there's always a first. I said, but for what?
Thank you, Jiwa. I'm
So
sorry.
she said,
That's
well, do
fine.
you want to plead innocent or guilty? I said, I'm innocent, so you want to plead innocent? I said, yes. She said, well, you have to pay the fine by December 7th, or you're going to need to appear in court. So I'm figuring, I'm going to have to go appear in court somewhere in Hackensack or wherever the court is. And I'm like, all right. So I'm like, when is court? She's like, oh, we don't have court in person. It's all virtual. And I'm like, okay. She's like, well, you're going to get a link to Zoom, but I can give you the information now. And the first court date we have available is December 2nd. So I was going away that week, which was Tuesday. When I'm going away that Monday. So she said we don't have court available till next. It was like till Monday, which is after Thanksgiving. That was just today. So they sent me the notice on the day after Thanksgiving. I get another email telling me that if I fail to appear, that they will issue a warrant for my arrest. I'm like, what the heck is this? So she says you can't come until 1:20. All the attorneys are heard first, and then you'll be heard, and it's first come, first served basis. So you could be there 3-4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I prepare my defense, what I'm going to say, and how things happen and whatnot. And so I get there, and I get there at 1 o'clock. They told me not to get there early. I got there at 1 o'clock. There was somebody there at 1 o'clock admitting me. I think at 1:02 or something, they admitted me. It's like, what's your name? Yada, yada, information. What's your ticket? What's your status? Okay, well, I can't help you with any of that. So you're going to just have to save that for the judge. But before you go to the judge, you're going to need to meet with the prosecutor. Okay.
Yeah, public defender,
Yeah, so I meet with the prosecutor. Now, here's the best one, HH. I meet the prosecutor, who's a good friend of mine. Didn't even know this person was the prosecutor. I've known this person for a long time. They never said they were the prosecutor. And I said, "Oh, hi, how are you?" And it was like, "Oh, hi, John." I'm like, "Hi." And she, it's like, "What are you here for?" I said, "Well, let me just tell you what happened. I got this ticket. I gave the whole, like the story I gave you. And then I told her how, I was coming back. I said, my treads on my sneakers, which wasn't a lie. The treads on my sneakers were really low. These were from my high school days. I haven't changed sneakers in a while. And being conscientious to get to my car, I tripped on a rock. I got a little scab. I'm not, I wasn't any medical, but I had to take a rest for a minute or two. I quickly got up, got to my car, and I was at my car at 7:04. And so that trip and my desire to be conscientious to get to my car and out of there by 7 o'clock, I got there 7:04, and I said, "Oh, gee, I made it. Everything was fine." And then I get a notice in the mail. So after I talk with her, she says, what time is the park closed? I said, "Well, it's 6:30, and the park closes at 7. And she's like, "So you were 4 minutes late?" I said, "Yes, prosecutor, I was exactly 4 minutes late." She says, "Can they give you a ticket for being 4 minutes late?" I said, "Yes."
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to recommend to the judge that we dismiss this. So I said, "Okay, thank you, prosecutor. I appreciate that. Have a nice day." So they send me back to the main room. So now I'm waiting for everybody. And they're doing the whole thing of like, I thought we were going to have to salute, and stand to the judge. You don't stand in virtual court. You sit the whole time. Then they kept telling you're not to use your cell phone. I had a computer. You're not to use your cell phone for any other purpose, to communicate with anybody else. You're not to have any other distraction. If you do, you'll be held in contempt of court.
Wait, hold on. John, hold on a second. This is all virtual in?
Yes. Yes.
So you go to the court and you still virtual?
Yes.
I'm sorry. That's funny.
So I'll meet with the prosecutor.
Okay.
And then after that, they come back. And, because she had to, recommend or have a thing. Because she had to go to a breakout room. Okay? Once they figure who you were, you met with the prosecutor. I didn't even know, she's like, "How do you plead?" I said, "I plead innocent." "Okay, you'll meet with the prosecutor, and then you'll come back, and we'll discuss it." So she's, "Oh, I'm going to recommend they dismiss it, but you'll have to go meet with the judge." She said, "I'm going to recommend that he dismisses it. I don't know if he will, but I'm going to highly recommend that he dismiss it. I mean, you were 4 minutes late. That wasn't a big deal." And I said, "What about this warrant for my arrest?" She goes, "Don't worry about that. It's all computer generated." Okay. So next thing I know, I'm there, and he's like, "Let me explain to you how we're going to operate and how we're not going to operate. This is the such and court of such and such, and here's how we operate. Today, I do want to remind you that your cell phone should all be off or on vibrate. You should have no notifications on your computer on. Failure to do this or anything that comes in contact with any sounds while you're on mic could be known as being in contempt of court."
Hold on. So is that your computer or they provide a computer?
No, my own computer.
So you're supposed to bring your computer with you?
No, I have my computer at home or my iPhone.
Yeah.
And you're not to use your iPhone or your computer to communicate with anyone else in the chat room, because that would be considered contempt of court as well. You're not allowed to text or chat with anybody else.
No, but did you take your computer to this proceeding, to whatever this?
No, I was at home. I was at home, right here.
Oh, so this is so so there is no actual. I thought you went there, and that's why I was laughing. Like I thought you went there instead of like seeing humans. You just were like
virtual. This was a Zoom call, and
all
they
right.
spent like
That makes more
time
sense.
how this was going to work and how it's not going to work and how this is everybody. This is your rights and all these things. And I said, oh, this is getting very complicated with all these, this thing they're reading. And the judge seemed very nice, and I'm waiting because I don't know how long it's going to be. And so, okay, I do know some of you met with the prosecutor. So we're just going to go ahead and take care of those people first, since the attorneys are not all here yet. And we just want to get these prosecuting cases out of the way first, so these people can get on their way and enjoy the rest of their day. So he comes, the number, so I was number 9. So he comes up, he goes, Mr. Morley, case 9. He's like, we're going to deal with you first. I said, okay, Your Honor. He says, I've got the information for the prosecutor, and I'm going to go ahead and dismiss this case. Do you have any disputes or any arguments about that? No, Your Honor. Okay, sir, well, you enjoy the rest of your day. The case has been dismissed. Within 3 seconds of them saying the case is dismissed, I was immediately kicked out of the Zoom. I didn't have a chance to even click end. I was kicked right out. It's like, thank you for appearing. He said to me, he says, I want to thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. And because of your, what did he tell me? He says, because of your good faith and in appearing today, I'm going to go ahead and dismiss the case.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a lot in this particular event here, because who the hell have known that you will get a ticket for? I mean, I get. See, the 4-minute thing is something that I think started in New York, because the meters, you would have gotten a ticket, like literally at the time where they expired. So they petitioned, and eventually they gave the grace period of 4 minutes. So let's say you have until 12, so you have until 4 minutes, to come in and fill in whatever it is.
It's a parking space.
If it's a parking space, now well, that's what I'm saying. That's different.
Parking lot, and you pull in. The park opens. You also can't be in the park early because the gates don't open to a certain time. So when you leave, and I've been there a couple times when there's like nobody there, but there was no cop car. Apparently, the ranger had called the police because he couldn't lock the gate because my car was still in the parking lot.
Well, the rangers, they have full jurisdiction in those parks. They don't need the police to issue a summons either. So I don't know if that's a case.
No. He actually called the Bergen police.
Okay, so I mean, I
just thought it was funny that there was no ticket on my car.
Well, that's the thing. Like, so they call the cops. They issue you a ticket, but they never give you an actual. Maybe it was in the car and you drove away and you didn't see it. I could have flown away. I mean, that's a possibility.
No. I found out there was no ticket. It was an e-ticket.
How do you get an e-ticket?
So I found out you don't even need to get a ticket to be served today. Now, I never gave the DMV my email address, which is a good thing I didn't know. They could have served me a ticket through email, but I never gave them my email address. So they had my address. But the thing that's wacky about this is that the ticket never got served, but the summons to court got served. Like the first one just went out, and somebody told me, well, they do this sometimes on purpose so they can make the extra $35 or $45. Because I missed the first one, I was held in contempt of court.
Well, the thing is, you have no way to prove that you never received the ticket, right? Well, I mean, if it was an e-ticket, I mean, they have sent a receipt.
I said to them, you saw how quickly I called you, right? Obviously, I would have called you just as quick with the ticket. I called them the same day I got the ticket. The summons, really. The summon and then the potential warrant for your arrest, it said. I'm like, it comes on that little, very thin paper. I'm like, why would they? It's like they file. I'm like, who filed a complaint against me? I don't bother anybody. And then I see here the Bergen County Sheriff's Office. I'm like, what did I ever do to these people? Like, what'd I do? I go to the park. I mind my own business. I don't make any noise. I walk. I have my headset on. I'm like, earphones on, I leave. But they're very picky, and it's all about money. It's all
What
about
was there? Was there a sign in the park that said that you have to leave the premises by
they have a
7?
sign when you come in that says you may be at the park. The park, it says the park opens at such and such time, and the park closes at such and such time. It doesn't say you have to vacate the lot at this time. It just says the park is open at 30 minutes after sunrise, or no, sunrise is when it opens, and 30 minutes after sundown is when it closes.
Well, there should add to that, and if not, you will be summoned to court.
There
and
is
or
nothing like that. So I went and looked at the jurisdiction for the park. There is an entire jurisdiction that states, okay, if you're in an unoccupied area, an occupied time, you can be immediately given a ticket. Now, I didn't know that.
I bet you're like everybody's watching. Probably maybe 1% knows this. This is news to me, and I guess everybody's watching. That's why it's pretty interesting, discussion. Like these are like this show, by the way, just to remind the people, it's an odd show. We talk about things.
We're odd, right?
Yeah, we're very odd. Well, you know what? We have a lot of other content, so you can check out John's, you can check out mine, you can check out all the podcasts on the network. We have a lot of stuff. This is more of a open discussion about things of life and how they impact us.
That just, it blew my mind. And by the way, the ticket was $125, and $45 of it was because I failed to respond to the original ticket.
So the original was what? Just
the original was the 125
80,
minus 45 for
80
just
what?
a non-moving violation. They also stated that if I didn't pay the ticket by the 7th of December, that I would lose my driving privileges in this state and any other state.
Scary. I mean, unbelievable. It's like, really? I mean, it's not a moving violation. It's not none of this stuff. I mean, but I guess they make it different.
I learned is that they don't play around with this stuff. So, when you see a sign, and this isn't just Bergen County, it could be anywhere else, but normally most people will give you 20 or 30 minutes before they give you a violation. So if I came back to my car at 7:30, I would have been late, very late. But 4 minutes past the closing time. They claimed they had to get the cop there because the ranger had to work overtime for me because he couldn't close the gate.
I mean, I can see that point of view in terms of practice and procedure, right? I mean, that's what it is. You got to leave. The park's got to get closed. That's it.
I mean, what I would like to see is maybe a siren goes over saying, you're being at Walmart or you're at the store. Attention shoppers, the store will be closing in 10 minutes. Please be sure. Attention hikers, please be sure to make your way out to the main gates because you need to be out of the parking lot within the next 5 minutes or you will be in violation and could be towed or given a ticket.
Listen, I dig
now,
that.
They didn't tow my car, which is nice. They said they don't tow cars. They just issue citations.
All right, well, so let's assume you didn't show up at 4 minutes later, and you showed up 30 minutes later. So what would have happened? Same thing, right?
Same thing, because he was waiting for me to get back to my vehicle so he could call the warden to tell him I had left the park.
Well, so did you see the ranger?
I saw the one guy, and I saw the ranger in his car on the other side of the park. And I left.
You had no way of thinking that it's by you, so.
I left, and after I left, because I was like in a light, 5 minutes went by, he still hadn't closed the gate yet. So they were in a real rush.
Well, overtime is at least half hour, right? So, he's paid, so might as well just milk the time.
and they're not very friendly at that park.
Well, you know what? No more park or no more that park. That's it.
I like the park, but I'm not going there that late. Because sometimes I would lead a hike that would be in the afternoon. And normally I'm done, but when you have the time zone change, that also screws up with the time of the park being open. So I make it my business to be out of there within 2 hours of closing. I try to go in the morning.
Well, lesson learned, dude. Do not mess around with parks.
No, and not just that park. Any park at all has the same sign. So I went and checked some other ordinances in other towns, and they have a similar ordinance. So I went to another local judge, and I asked them a question. And they said, John, we have an ordinance to enforce it, but to be honest with you, we never do. It's there. We could enforce it, but we never enforce it. Really?
I mean, I can see the benefits of closing the park, but really, that you had a vehicle. If you didn't have a vehicle, they wouldn't even know that you're in the park, right?
Well, this is another thing I wanted to say. There are other people that are in the park after closing, and I wonder if it's just the fact that I was in or if it was the car was in the lot. So if I was in the park, okay. But here's the other thing: if I had, let's say, a permit, and I parked there overnight, right? And they allow me to park there because they let some people, if you have a permit, park there to sleep overnight in a tent or outside.
So you know what? Just get yourself a permit and be there all the time.
Well, it's got to be issued. And then another thing is, I usually bring 10 or 20 guys in with me, right? Do you know what happens when you get over 20 people? I saw what happened with this. If you have over so many people, you know what happens? They'll issue a ticket because you're over your limit. And you have to pay for a permit to bring more people through the park.
It's like a party.
So when I have 20 people, it's fine. But if I have 21, I've got to apply for a permit. I just thought it was very comical. And when I talked to somebody I know that's actually petitioning to be a judge, I said, John, I said, this is such nonsense. And I was very polite. I wasn't nasty to anybody. I was just, this is what happened. Some people were like, what is this nonsense? I didn't do that. I said, I just don't understand what happened here. I never got the ticket. They didn't even question me. I made sure I had my cross defense examined. I made sure I had everything correct with my knee. The guy fell. The shoes. I had all my exhibit A's, B, and C. They didn't even ask to see them. They said, I'm just going to recommend we dismiss this.
Well, I mean, ultimately, it's nothing. I mean, but it could be worse. I mean, listen, bad things do happen in parks, and you never know after hours. A lot of nasty stuff can take place. So I get it from the safety, public safety and all the stuff. Parks is a known place where safety can be. Crime can happen, all the stuff. So it's not something we don't know of. I mean, a lot of horror stories happen in these places. And I get it, these guys have to close the park and follow the time. Usually sunrise.
So now, they should have a sign there that says it is a violation. So it wasn't a criminal violation right now. It was just a civil violation. It was a parking violation. But if I ignored that, it would have become a criminal violation against me.
Well, like that, to your point, there should have a violation, sign in there, or just like when you have parking signs that says, fines issued, whatever it is, and so if you don't do it right, you're gonna get a ticket, or you're gonna, get worse. You're gonna have to pay.
Now, anytime I go to any park or any public place, I know there was something else happening about a parking. I've really never gotten parking tickets. We had a place down in South Jersey, and there was a meter there. And they're notorious down in Seaside Heights for the meters always being broken and you always get a ticket. So I remember putting money in, and I put extra money in, and I looked at the meter, and I went there, and I came back. Well, I came back, and I have a ticket on my car. This was a long time ago, and I said, what's this for? So I took a picture of the meter, like what it was. It was stuck. So I went over to the, to the police department, and they said, well, we can't really take your plea here. You have to go to Seaside Heights. We're just the local police that issues the tickets, but we don't have jurisdiction to remove the ticket. And so now you have to go to a whole court. So long story short, I think the ticket was $45 or $50. And so I said to them, and you're not going to win because they said the meter's broken. It's your responsibility to not park there. So that was my first parking. And the second ever parking that I have was I went to help a customer. I think it was in. Where was it now? It wasn't too far from me. It was in New Jersey, and I went to help these people that had a computer problem, and I was there past 12 o'clock. And I figured, Midland Park. I figured, no big deal. I'll park there. I'll be in now. So I get back to my car about 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, I'm only 150 feet from their store. Okay? I come back to my car, and guess what I get? A $45 ticket. I'm like, for
You're a magnet, man.
I'm like, for what? So, long story short, that ticket I paid, but they said, well, you didn't read the sign when you came in. I said, well, I didn't come into town that way. Well, that was your fault. You came in the back way. I said, yes, I did. Well, we don't have signs the back way, so maybe you should fix that. They have a big sign when you come in the main road. But when you come in the back road, there's no sign that says you'll be towed after 12 o'clock at night or a fine. So, and then this is the third one. I hope it's the last one. But I'm always very careful when I park. And, even where I park, even if you don't park in the lines correctly, you can get a ticket. If you take up more than one spot in some places, you can get a ticket. Now, not in a private parking lot, like a church or something like that. But if you do that, let's say, maybe in a mall, and they want to be sticklers, they can tow you or ticket you or boot your car because you took 2 spots. I remember being going to New York for the New York Marathon. And I had to go to a special place because there was no spots. It's like they just have enough spots for people to go to New York, and that's it. So you have to park only in the green spots. And on Saturday and Sunday, it's free parking. Well, I didn't trust this. So I put my number in, and it says that the spot is already, it's available. I don't have to pay for it. It's good. And so if you put the wrong number in HH, right? Well, that doesn't mean anything. You're still going to get a ticket. I remember being in Ridgewood, and I put money in the meter, and I put plenty of coins in. I went for a meeting, and I came out a half hour early and had a ticket on them thing. So I went down, which took me an hour and a half to go to the Ridgewood Police Department. And you're going to have to go here. And there was like a whole jerk around. And so they said, well, you're going to have to appear in court. This was way before COVID. And so I said, well, I'm going on vacation. Oh, well, we can reschedule your court date then for after you come back. All right, so I put all the information in. I get a notice in the mail 2 weeks before I'm going away for vacation. Dear Mr. Morley, we regret to inform you. I'm like, now what? We regret to inform you that we looked at the meter and analyzed the operations of it. And unfortunately, we found that the meter was defective. So, look, that's a good thing, isn't it, right? Unfortunately, we found the meter was defective.
Yeah, shouldn't be a problem then.
Right? Sounds good. Thus, we are dismissing this case. Well, why would you say unfortunately? Why would you say we've looked at the meter and to your benefit, we found the meter was defective? And we're like, why don't you just say that? Why do you say we regret to inform you? That sounds terrible.
Sounds like an interview didn't go right.
I remember the first time I applied HH to the International Press, which, by the way, I'm my 8th year in. And when I first applied to them, they said, Dear Mr. Morley, we regret to inform you. I was like, okay, that we're not able to induct you into the International Press Association of the world at this time. I said, all right, well, no big deal, right? So I didn't read the rest of it, and I put it away. And I said, maybe I should read the rest of that letter, right? It says that they're not able to induct me right now, right? So I figured that's it. So maybe I should read the rest of the letter, right? So I was on the fence day, 2 days, too. So I said, let me read the rest of the letter, right? What's the worst it could say? We regret to inform you that we're not able to induct you into the National Hall of Press at this time.
However,
then I read the next sentence says, our team has reviewed your work and found that it is conclusive, original, and exemplary, and works that we would be honored to have in our in our to be recognized in our thing. And even though we're not able to induct you, as we said at this time, we'll be reaching out to you within 4 to 6 weeks to validate some information, and then it will be our pleasure to invite you to become a member. Now, because the way they phrased it, I was like, gee, they're not inducting me. And because I didn't read past it, so my point is, a lot of times we put that negative thought in our head and we don't go further, right? Because of what we experience. Perfect example on this is abundance, right? You might say, gee, John, I don't have any money, I don't have this, I don't have that. Focus on abundance. Focus on already having it. And whatever turns up in your life, if it's 10 cents, if it's $1, if it's $10, if it's $1,000,000, be grateful for that. And more will show up. And it's a mindset, because that mindset gets you to feel well. And I know people are going to think I'm crazy. That mindset, I really believe, causes the quantum universe, I know this is deep, to actually reorchestrate things so those things come into your life. I believe that we are all connected into quantum consciousness, and that everything is energy. We're vibrating.
Well, anyone that knows, no, I believe. Listen, I've had shows about it. Yeah, I mean, quantum is the next level, with the sub level
everything
of everything.
Everything is connected, and I the first thing I did this morning when I got up, as people say, like when I told people I was going to court, oh my gosh, you're so. So first thing I said to myself, I said, geez, I am so lucky this morning. Why are you so lucky? You're going to court. I'm so lucky. I get to attend virtual court on Zoom. How cool is that? My friends thought I was drunk, and I was like, no, this is going to be so cool. I'm going to get to see how they run court through virtual world. This is neat.
Well, you see, John, let's pause on that, because this is a big, thing about mindset here, because it's how you see things. That's always been the case. It's the same story. It's you're choosing to see what's best in this picture, and some people will choose the worst in that picture, and therefore their feelings, their days ruined. They just basically are miserable because they just seeing everything that is going bad in that morning, whatever they get through. In your case, listen, yes, okay, what happened. I know I have a good shot at making this, but not only that, I'm gonna learn how this process works. And you get to meet someone that you knew, you got to learn more, and you got to see how the process works when it comes to this. And that's the thing. We learn from every experience in life. This is just one.
Absolutely, those challenges or anything. But I mean, what were the chances of me connecting with somebody that I knew that was like a good friend of mine? And normally they would say, gee, they can't do that because they know me. But the person just played off like they didn't know me. Like I said, hi, such and such, hi, John. And they just played it like they didn't know me.
Well, I mean, they're on the Zoom. It's recorded. You have other people. You know them. They know you, but they're not gonna say, "Hey, what's up, what's up, pal?" It's like, "How you been? How's the family?"
I just literally said the person's first name. I said, "Hi, how are you?" And then I just went right into what I was doing. I said, "Okay." And I addressed the person, not their name. I said, "Thank you so much, Miss Prosecutor. I appreciate your consideration."
That's
okay,
it.
no problem. And it was just very surreal. When I see this person in a couple of weeks, I'm like, I don't know whether to say thank you to them or not. Like, I mean, like, because of them, they made my case easy. If I would have got someone else, it might have been harder. I might have still won. But I kept saying to myself, I'm so grateful that I'm going to get to do this. I don't have to drive anywhere. I get to appear. And I'm going to, and I started practicing what I was going to say, and I was researching points and even going over my points with some people that have were past judges and people that are going to become judges. Like, John, this is such nonsense. Like, this should have never even been a ticket. I said, I know. They said, yeah, this whole thing. Then she said to me, this whole thing will be dismissed.
Well, John, go ahead, sir.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, this topic of tickets. I mean, there's some crazy tickets that people can get. I mean, I have a story that happened to me in almost the same, something that you wouldn't think is a real thing, right? So we moved up, from Staten Island to Niagara Falls years back for I had a house there, so we went there. So we had the truck, the moving truck, and we had our vehicle. So the driveway was really packed. We got there overnight. We couldn't park the truck because it's commercial outside. So we put it on our drive. Well, driveway was full, so I put it on the lawn, like really next to the driveway. And the morning I got a ticket. I'm like, I'm in my property. Why am I getting a ticket? So there was an ordinance where you could not park on your lawn because that's not where you're supposed to park. So I went to court. Now this was before virtual. This is years, way years back, and they actually dismissed it because they say, you know what, in just as a courtesy, you just moved into the neighborhood. You did not know about the policy. You were literally moving. You have a truck that is still loaded with your stuff. You couldn't put it in the street. We understand. So we'll give you the courtesy of removing it. But who knew that you couldn't? I didn't know. I mean, to me, like it's my private property. I could put it whatever on the roof if I had to. But that's not the case. So that's the thing. Like we have to be careful. Like what we don't have to assume, folks. Assuming is assumption is the mother of as they say, right? So uh, we have to be cool about it. We have to learn. Whatever you move to a jurisdiction, a territory, I don't know, state, country, whatever. It's funny. A couple of years back we went to Dubai, and we had no clue about that. We didn't have any idea about the rules there, and it was like terrifying to be there, but not knowing the rules when those rules can be extremely uh, pricey because you would have to pay high ticket fines as well as potential well, not deportation, but not being able to go back or I mean, it could be little things that here in the States, for example, you would think they're normal. They're not that normal. Like simple jaywalking, right? I mean, some places here in the States you can jaywalk, but a lot of people do it, in the big cities, New York, whatever. And now they enforce it in some parts of the states. But like that's a rule. There's cameras. You don't have to talk to anyone. If you park in the middle of the road, you'll get there. If you actually, let's say you went to a red light there, just which people do all the time. I see them, passing me on the road trying to catch that light. Boom, they zoom right through, right? Over there, if you did that, it's 1 month. Apparently, that's why I have to verify that. But I was told that it's a month jail, $1,000 fine, and they tow away your car. So like imagine if you rented a car and you didn't know. Now here's the thing: they don't even have to talk to you. Like let's say you don't even know this at the airport. They don't talk to you. You walk in, you walk out. They have a machine. You scan your passport, and if there's any problem that you've had, a violation of such, they'll actually just pull you over to deal with you on the side, and then now you'll have to pay whatever fines before you can leave the country. So you're not leaving the country until you take care of business.
I don't want
Whatever.
to go. That's a little crazy.
No, but it's not. There's reasons for that, and actually it works perfectly. For the environment there. But for someone who is first time in there, it will be a brutal like awakening. Like these things are. I mean, I'll give you something. If I'm, let's say I say the F word or I throw an F bomb to someone or I flick someone and I give them a finger in there. Guess what? $10,000 at least. I mean, that's what I got registered as far as a fine. Now I mean, people flick, fingers here like left and right, like it's hotcakes, right?
I,
People, throw F bombs all the time. You do that, you offend someone, then that's a problem. I mean, there's so many,
well,
no
this is
nos.
why I get a lot of people, and the people that I decide that I want to bring on the show because I don't bring everybody on, they got to sign a media release, and in the media release, it states that whether it's intentional or accidental, any slang or curse that could be used on the FCC will be attributed to you personally for $20,000 per violation. Whether we catch it or not, it's a $20,000 fine plus any fines that go against us for potentially losing our license.
And you
That's
said
that
you
is
said
in
you
my
won't go there. No one's
that
gonna
is
want
in,
to come, man.
that is in my media release because if I bring somebody on, I got to know that I can trust them. I had one guy, he was a real top guy, and I explained the whole thing with him. And we were about to do something, and he started with it in the pre-chat. Now, the show didn't start. He said, well, what does it even matter? He said, the show didn't start yet. I said, sir, I said, I don't like your attitude. I said, just the fact that you're disrespecting me off the air before we get on the air, the interview's over. So have a nice day.
You actually dismissed him before?
I dismissed him. I said, you know what? I said, if that's the way you're going to respect me as a host before we get on the air, I'm not going to put up with this. So have a nice day. He's like, you know what I'm worth? I said, I don't care if you're worth $1 billion or
I'm
if you're
sorry.
worth a little tiny speck of a fly. You could be worth anything, but you're not worth anything on my show. Well, you're stupid. Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Man, that's not appropriate. But
He says, you don't know my style. You haven't read my books. I said, not yet. He said, every third word in my book's a curse. I said, well, not my show. It's not.
well, again, let's assume that is the case, and that's okay. I mean, not everybody would accept that, so therefore it's something you kind of disclaim or disclose up front, right? You tell, hey, listen, this is what I do, this is my book, this is what it is, this is how I talk. I mean, there are celebrities that actually use, those words, as part of the signature, right? There are people out there that are prominent, they do that, right? And there are shows that are open territory, and there's X-rated stuff. There is, depends on, even when you go to these platforms, is it safe? Is it mature? So they give you a selection of what the show is going to be. Is it cool for kids or not cool for kids? These are things. So that's, but for the guest to get into being offended and doing that, that's again, listen, it is what it is. It's showbiz here, right? Some people have their own. And that's the other thing. Some people have their own cloud. They feel that they are who they are, and you just not the vibe. But then again, they should also know about you, just the way you would know about your guest, right? So, I mean, there are people that come to your show. They don't know much about you, and that sometimes they're booked by agencies, so they actually ask you about who's your audience and what your show is about and stuff like that, because they may not know. But there are people that actually select the podcasts or talk shows that they want to be on, radios that they want to be.
And then, you get these people, HH, I can tell you a real quick one. So, I'm selective, and you are too, who we bring on the show, right? It's really important. It's like our brand. Well, I get these PR people, and I have a PR person myself, and they come and they think that they're just going to sell me to get the person on my show, and I don't know anything about them. So they send me these links and these videos. I'm like, I'm busy. I don't have time to watch a million links and videos and stuff. Like, you want to interview, like, I want to meet with your client. Oh, well, they really don't get on the show. I said, well, I guess they don't want to be on my show. Have a great day. Oh, was that it? I said, yeah, that's it. Take care. So she messages me back. And she says, well, John, she says, I talked to them. They really want to be on your show. I said, well, here's my link. Book a 50 or 30-minute pre-chat, and we'll go from there. Oh, but they don't do pre-chats. I said, well, I guess we're not going to be on the show then. Take care. Happy holidays. Have a nice Thanksgiving.
Well, there are some that do that, yeah.
What's that?
There are some that actually kind of want to do a pre-show kind of discussion to kind of.
That's what I want to do. Yeah. So then the day after Thanksgiving, she messaged me back. She says, I talked to them, and they're so extremely busy. They don't do pre-chats, but I don't know why, John. They want to be on your show, so I booked an interview for him and his father because they want to be on your show. I said, okay, then I guess we'll see you at the pre-chat. Oh, do I need to be there? I said, not really. There's no really need for you to be there at all. And a lot of them, they don't understand that the reason I want to meet these people, I want them to understand it's not a sales show. I had another guy yesterday, and he was telling me again, I love it when they give me what their net worth is, like I really care. And he's like, well, I don't do this, I don't do that. I said, well, you're going to sign my media release, or you're not going to get on my show. Maybe you want to get on another show. Do you know who I am? Do you know how many books I've written? I really don't care. Like, not with that attitude, I don't care. And I just think it's funny because they think they can manipulate you. Or I get these people like, well, my lawyer's going to look at your contract and make changes. Well, you see, my media release is not open for lawyer negotiation. It's what it is. And you either sign it or you don't. Like, there's no discussion. Like, you understand that? Well, I want to make a few changes. Right, so I guess you're already not going to be on the show. Well, I just want to change this and change that. That's nice, but I'm not interested in having you on the show.
Well, John, so to that effect, right? So Yeah, listen, podcast is huge, right? There's thousands
Yep.
and thousands of podcasters worldwide, and show, radio talk shows and stuff. It's all over. And also, we have TV, talk shows, right? And from the large networks to the smallest networks like mine, right? But the idea is that we have a lot of those, and every like you can't go to ABC or CNN or any of those platforms and networks and dictate how you're going to be, you know, uh, interviewed and stuff. If you get invited, it's a privilege. You got it. You come in, you do stuff. Now, obviously, that's the high, the top, of the top. But at the end of the day, every platform, every organization has its own policies and procedures. And if you want to do business with them, you kind of like have to adapt to that, because that's what it is. It's a choice. You don't have to go anywhere. If they don't meet your, I guess, uh, way of doing things and flavor, that's okay too. But that's the thing. Like we just have people have to know. Like, listen, I have a media release as well. People, sign it and they go in before we release the stuff, and that's a great thing. Some people actually they want to do a pre-chat. I don't do a lot of pre-chat. I mean, it's very simple. You watch the network, you see the videos, you know what the interviews look like. You can join in. I don't even respond sometimes. I have someone that does the admin work. They send in a standard, information about, them, where they can book and the conditions and policy to book. They submit it. It's all good. I show up during the day. Boom. We're having a good time. We have a pre 5-10 minutes discussion before the actual show, and then we roll. And it's fun stuff. We have a great time. And that's my format. Everybody's got their own, like there's, yeah. I mean, I think there's more guests than hosts out there, right? But so there's a lot of podcasters that do just chats and talks, and there are podcasters that have recurrent guests and things like that. Again, from the top people in the industry to the people that are just starting on one episode one, right? So it doesn't matter, but people have to have just mutual respect for people's policies and procedures and just house
You
rules,
you
right? I
you,
mean,
you got a mouthful there. The respect is so important. And what gets people to want to be on the show is because they see the numbers, right? They see my numbers are high, and they want to get off the mic. I'm like, so I say, if I interview like all these people, I say, I'm only going to pick like two. Well, you have to pick my client. I'm like, my client's been. I said, I don't care if your client was on Good Morning America. Like, I may not pick them. Well, what are you like? And I just love it when people think they can manipulate me to bring their guest on. Like, well, you know who we are. Like, we do work for such and such. Like, well, that's great. So you're probably very busy. You don't need me then. And and this lady was pitching me. She's like, I love your philosophy of that whole thing of believing, achieving. It's like so great. It's in my blood. I said, you're snow jobbing me. Okay, you don't believe in that. All right, so come clean. And what are you trying to get me? Well, it's not me, but my client just loves it. Like they do that whole concept of believing and stuff. I said, well, that's my slogan. No, but they do this whole thing with socks, and I just think it'd be perfect, you guys, to connect. And it's a story about some people that have a disadvantage, a handicap, and I spread joy through a lot of things. They spread joy through their socks. But PR companies have a way of just, I don't know, just cheapening things.
well, again, it depends. I mean, I guarantee you, some of these guests when they book these agencies, I mean, they were also promised, that they're going to be, I guess, promoted right, and put into as many podcasts as possible. So these guys just to do the booking, so they have target, right? So they're pitching, right? So they're gonna do that, and they might have to hype it up a little bit, whatever. See, I have to say, I want to give shout out to Podmatch, and our dear Alex there, and the work he's done is phenomenal. And there's other platforms that are similar to his, but they kind of close that loop with everything from to guests to the hosts and the policies and the procedures and the releases and all stuff. It's a pretty good system. It works 100%. Very little. I don't think there's any glitches there. I mean, initially there were a few things back in when it started, but that was already like they've upgraded big time, and it works for everybody. You get great guests, you have great hosts, and there's a good match there. If you match, you have the choice to match or not match. You have the profile, you have their links, you have their statistics, you have everything. So it works. So again, Just shout out to the Podmatch folks there. They're doing a great job and connecting thousands and thousands of podcasters with guests and great guests and experts. So it's a great platform. So there's that. I mean, some platforms have specialized to do this to bypass some of this. But again, like for example, my guests, they're a variety. I have them through Podmatch, I have them through Match
Hmm.
Maker.fm, I have them through other venues from my own connections, and also from PR companies. And like the PR companies, as you said, they have almost a standard email that you get or request. We've seen your last episode. We were mesmerized with
I,
this,
I
the other.
had one. I had one today. Lady said, "She's like, Mike was such and such is in the war." I said, "That's nice. Have you watched my show? Which show do you want to be on? Oh, you have more than one, so you haven't done your homework on me, have you?"
Now that's a
Well,
see you. That's a catchy one. That's a tough one.
so what's your which show? Well, the one you do all the time. I do a lot of them all the time. Well, my client will be great. He was in the military. Okay, well, how does that align with my values? Oh, he'll fit with any value you have. Well, why don't you just give me a sentence or two of why you think he's a good fit for me? I'm really busy. Well, have you read his book? No. Oh, well, here's a link. You should go buy it. Well, I don't. I'm a host. I don't buy books. They get sent to me. She said, well, we charge our hosts for books. I said, you don't charge me for books.
No, listen. I mean, you're right. Well, I mean, listen. Some people, they again, these are the PR folks. They're not the actual authors or writers. They basically hire agencies, and the agencies do what they have to do to promote the stuff. But you're right. If you want to be like I've had many guests, send me their books before or after, to as a token of appreciation, or just to review the books and understand what their context is and the content is, and all the stuff that they write, especially what they promote in their books. That's a big one, right? But then that's just one way. And some people, they have books, they don't send them to you. They just have a link. You can just do it. Some people give you giveaways for your audiences, right? And so they give you that opportunity. Hey, listen, if you listen to the show and you come to our site, you get a freebie, right? So there's all kind of ways that these folks promote their work. And, I appreciate all that stuff. But you're right. It's more about like if you don't do the due diligence and know what your show, for example, John is, it's a little tough when you pitch in the wrong information because it's kind of very obvious, right? That you don't even watch my stuff. How do you, did you get my email from a mass mailing list, whatever? So that's kind of thing. But I mean, again, anyone who knows John, John is all over the map. I mean, you pop LinkedIn, he's there. TikTok, he's there. I mean, he's busy. So you'll see him all over the map. And so yes, if you really watch his stuff, and by the way,
Oh, I want to tell you the best one now before we wrap, but I have a really
well,
good one.
hold on, John. I want to say this. This is kudos to you. This particular show is just like I always claim this is a unique concept that we have. It's
It's
open
very unique.
discussion, and we just throw things and we talk and chat and just really having a good time, and hopefully bring some stuff of value to audiences. But the real content that he pushes out to the real world out there, from the science stuff, from the real things, for
Yep.
the this. I mean, literally great. It's Wikipedia, John Wikipedia. So this is it. I mean, you can learn a lot of stuff from John's work. I enjoy his work as well. I actually we have discussions here. We've done things here. We've discovered things with him, and he's literally he will bring you information that you probably have not heard before. So that's the thing. So that's the type of shows that you get with John. And again, there's so many. It's like catching up with him is a lot. I mean, he's on the radios. I mean, he's on iHeart Radio. He's in different radios, and I mean, he's all over the place. So, but that's the thing. When someone wants to discover a host, I mean, they just have to know what their angle is and approach with the right angle, and then that's it. It's fun, right? Yeah. Sorry, John. I just wanted to give you that because
No,
you.
I appreciate that. I think it's great. And I don't know if I told you, I'm going back for my master's second week of January. I told you that, right?
Yes, we
And I
did.
actually got a fellowship with the local school, Montclair State. I'm going to be teaching underclassmen and taking a course.
Hey,
It's
nothing
getting
wrong
my
with that.
master's in AI.
Well, you'll be ahead of all of us because I tell you, AI is the way of the future. I think
I
AI is
want
going
the
to take over.
master's and then I want the doctor. But what I wanted to share with you, which I think is pretty interesting, is that I do STEM a lot, right? So we're doing our first. We're actually going to do 12, to over 2 years of electronics and STEM, and the program was actually helped put together by the American Teachers of America, Teachers Society of America. We even have a workbook now. We stopped doing STEM for free and we charge because now it has some real scholastic aptitude credit, which I think a lot of people are going to, really enjoy. We're even making a device that you get to take home to show you how electricity can safely travel through your body to make a current safely.
Yeah, keyword being safely because
Yeah, we're
electricity.
going to use low voltage and low power. But I think a lot of people, they see these things and then they get turned off by education, or they get turned off by the fact that you don't know something. When I don't know something, that's a real curiosity moment. I'm like, I want to figure out why and what else can I learn. I think that's a great thing, and I think every day, when whether it's doing a reel or it's a short or a long or whatever I'm doing, it's just important to embrace things. Like this whole week, well, we always have good topics, but this week's master topic is a really good one. It's yesterday we talked about integrative action. The whole week is about the power of keeping your word. And yesterday was about the power of man keeping his word. And I think it's easy to say you can keep your word, but it's easy how we can slip and not want to do that when something else seems easier or when we get peer pressure. So I just break all these things down. I had somebody the other day that told me he always keeps his word. No, I didn't say anything bad to the person, but when I needed him to do something for me, he became unavailable. And I didn't mention his name. I said, this happens with people like you and I. This happens with multi-billionaires. I said, what really is the same with everyone is when they go to bed at night and they realize how they didn't help somebody because they put themselves first. So I ask you to take a moment, think about that. Once I did that, he stopped following a little of my content because he realized he was guilty of doing that. He bought me lunch one day, and then he asked me for $10,000. And he told me why he wants the money, because he wants me to be on his board so he can get me so much business. And I said to myself, this is such a come on. Like, what am I, stupid? And I think a lot of people, they're for themselves first. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be for yourself, but you've got to remember you've got to help others, right? So if you gain wealth or knowledge, you want to pass that on. If you wealth, you want to try to give to others. I'm not saying you should get up on a boat or on a stage and say, hey, look what I did for somebody. That's not what it's about. I think giving is about what people don't see from you, the anonymous gifts. You might have gone places and say, well, just don't tell anybody I gave. Like, I just want it to be only but don't make a public thing about it. And I think that's important because when you give and no one knows you give, that's when I think it's stronger.
Well, listen, we are still hovering around just past Thanksgiving, right? So there's a lot of giving in this spirit of this time of the year, right? But you're right. I mean, giving is a big deal, and you're right. When someone does something, you do it for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons, hopefully. Um, and the other thing is, as you said, I mean, listen, if it's a business transaction, and I know I'm gonna do a favor to and ask for a favor or ask you for something, that has to be very clear, and that's it. So the intents have to be clear, and that's it. Don't play, don't try to fool around because people are not dumb. They'll read through right there, easy. So it's not like not again when business, right? You meet with someone, you transact with them. There's definitely an actual sales transaction that's happening at all times, but two people meet at all times, right? And so that's what it is. I mean, this show, someone can say, well, this is also a transaction. Yes, we are sharing information. We certainly want our audiences to actually flourish with us and see more and catch on the other shows and stuff. So there is that. But at the end of the day, it's what's in it. Is it sincere? Yes, we're very sincere in the work we do. We've been doing it for years. We love what we do. We enjoy what we do,
Absolutely.
and we have a mission. I mean, I have a mission. He has a mission, and we're connecting. To kind of shows here in one for this particular,
Yep.
I guess this particular show right here, Double Impact. But at the end of the day, I mean, there's many things that can be done. But you're right. Sometimes people have to be kind. And again, we're coming to the end of the year. This will be the last, I guess, broadcast that we have for this year, right,
You
John?
can still be kind at any time. You can be kind in January, but this person that was going to get on my show, and you reminded me something I wanted to say. I said to him, he said, I figured out the magic bullet to doing podcasts. I said, okay.
Okay.
So I'm listening to
Hit
him.
me.
And he says, I don't do podcasts like a lot of you people just, do that and give information. I'm much too busy for that. I said, okay. I said, what do you do? I use podcasts to be a powerful lead magnet for me. Okay. He says, I make sure that when I get on a show, I'm getting business. And I just finished having a conversation with him about how we don't sell on the show. And he agreed with me. Then he says, well, I strategize so people will want to work with me. He just told me he doesn't sell, but he's lying because he says, I only go on podcasts. I said, well, let me explain to you how our podcast works. You can't mention anything but value. That means no price tags. That means no offers, call to actions in the beginning. At the end, you could say something. And I sent him my media release and all this. And he comes back and he says, well, do you have an electronic version? Because I really don't like to fill out the paper version. Like print it. So that was his cop-out. And he's not going to come on the show because I didn't have it as an electronic e-file form. He says he's too busy to print it out and sign it and scan it. He just doesn't have the time for that.
I can tell you one thing: he can still do it without having to print it. There are ways to do it. You can do it.
I know. But I wasn't even gonna. Eventually, I'm gonna have it on the website, but I wasn't gonna do that. I was just making it like I had the form. All we had to do is print it, fill it out, and you still fill it out and you print it. But he was just looking for a way, and I could just, you could smell it on some people, when they're not authentic. And I just knew. He's like, I help some of the best people. You know how I do it? I charge like $30,000, $40,000, and I make people lead magnets on podcasts. Okay.
Well, so John, just since you mentioned that, so yes, it is a known fact. People are using podcasts more and more as a venue, right? And a lot of people actually start their own podcast to promote their own business, whatever they do. I mean, there's a lot of entrepreneurs, business people, CEOs, and all stuff that they basically either go as guests to promote their work, but again, to me, that work is of value because whatever that work is, usually it's got something to benefit the world somehow. Now, of course, there's a price to these things. Let's say you have a book, right? You're selling the book on Amazon stuff. People are going to buy it, but there is a discussion that is worthy, of sharing to the world, and therefore people can get excited about it and have that. And if they like what they hear, well, the book is available. People can go get it. That's just an example, right? But there are people that actually literally, as you said, do podcasts so they can generate leads to their business, which, by the way, I have nothing. I'm in sales, so I get it. This is a good way to do it. It's a live thing, and you go on the road, you promote yourself, big time. And there's nothing wrong. But again, respecting, the rules of others and the hosts. And that's all there is. And that's really what usually, have to do that. And you're right. Like, there is a sales transaction, everything, but I love what you said. There's value. There's no CTA. Like, for example, in my shows, I promote the actual value of these my guests, and all my guests I promote it in my network. So if you actually watch my shows, you can go to their business. They're a resource, and but they're selected to be a resource in the first place. So when you hear them, you're going to learn something, insights, then all the good stuff, but also you have access to them directly. And whatever happens after that, that's on them. But you're right. Some people, you see, you don't have to throw that in the face. Like, I generate 10,000, whatever. Well, good for you. Like, listen, this is what it is. It's a world of that. But, it's just a matter of understanding, how to do this correctly. And some people have the ego too. So that's the other thing. Unfortunately, I've come across a couple people that have that, or they try to pitch you too.
Humble pie is something a lot of people, they don't sell at a lot of stores.
Well, talking about pies, what's for the end of the year? Any pies? Anything going on with you?
Well, I have lots of parties. I just told you I just finished making. So on it was when I came home. I made because I baked in Florida too. I made I started with spritz cookies, And this was one of the first years my gun didn't break. The guns always break, and I'm always returning them. Game. They make crappy guns. I even had a gun from Italy that was $99, and the gun still broke after a year or two. Supposed to have a lifetime warranty, right? I called the store in Milan once I got somebody that spoke English, and they said, "Oh, sorry, senor, it's limited lifetime warranty." It doesn't lifetime. No, 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 senor. Limited lifetime.
Someone's gonna have to translate that.
So
Lifetime means lifetime.
we're gonna give it to you, sir. We're gonna give you a 20%. I give you 20 for your inconvenience. I give you 20% on another $99 gun. So you want me to spend $99? No, $99, and you pay 20% off, and then just pay the shipping. How much is the shipping? Oh, from Italy to you, ground probably like $30. So I got to pay almost $130. No, $99 minus 20%, and then the
plus
shipping.
30.
Plus the 30. I said, what about the gun? Sir, it happens sometimes. The gun, probably something where you said lifetime, is limited. So what's limited mean? Limited means about a year. Well, why don't you just say it has a 1-year warranty? No, we say limited lifetime. If you ask me, that's a come on.
No, I mean seriously. I mean, lifetime means lifetime. Lifetime.
So
means
I made Ritz cookies. Then I made oatmeal cookies. And my cookies, a couple years ago, I decided I was making too much time with the hands, so I got one of these melon boards. You put it and you scoop it. The problem is your arm gets tired when you keep grabbing that thing all the time, to keep releasing it, because I have like the melon board, you release it, but I have nice little cute sized cookies like this. And my peanut butter cookies are this big, even when it's this small, because I use about a teaspoon or half a teaspoon of baking powder, and that makes it just blow up. So, and then I moved on to baking, peanut butter and chocolate chip yesterday. Did a final chocolate chip today. I do 3 batches of everything. I did 1 blossom today, peanut butter blossom, which is the peanut butter when you put the kiss on top. And then I have to do 2 more of those. So probably 2 more tomorrow, and then that'll be done. But I wanted to get something done because tomorrow we're having our annual holiday pizza, sweets, and treats. So we're doing a thing where you bring an unwrapped toy and you bring a holiday tasty sweet or treat, and I'm providing the pizza, different pizzas cut in very small slices.
Sounds delicious, man. Don't give me the munchies. It's late now.
Oh, sorry. If you want to see, I can bring my camera. I can show you.
Bro, I run the nutritious channel, so cookies is not really a big thing.
I understand, but when it's a holiday, that's why my cookies are only about this big.
I know you're big with diet, so it's okay. I'm just joking.
Like I had 3 or 4 cookies today, but I didn't have 4 big cookies. I had 3 or 4 small cookies. So that's equivalent to like 1 or 2 big cookies. It's not the same as eating 6 big cookies.
Well, again, there are cookies and there are cookies. Depends on the ingredients. You can make them, vegan. You can make them, gluten-free. You can make them all kind of stuff with no sugar, whatever. So it depends how you bake them. And so they can be healthy cookies, and there's nothing wrong with that. Or they can be the ones they pick up that are not cookies. They just have the name of cookies from the shelf, right? So there's that. We can bring a whole discussion about nutrition next time if you want. But it's well. So here's the thing. Now we are closing this year. Anything that we want to share before 2024 is over, and welcome the new one.
On again until next year.
That's right.
I think the biggest thing I want to tell people, and I said this before, don't set goals in your life. What does he mean? Well, before the end of the year, write down what you would normally call goals. Make promises to yourself. Because, see, when you break a promise, you feel really bad with yourself, and you don't want to break a promise. A goal that doesn't happen, all right, didn't happen. We'll just set a bigger goal next time. And then you just keep setting yourself up for failure. So why don't you just make a promise with yourself and get real? And commit already. And stop trying to placate things. Those that fail to plan have planned to fail. So you don't want to be a full-time failure next year. You want to be a success. Well, success doesn't happen like that. It happens when you plan and orchestrate the actions you'll be taking.
know that. That should be like, like a meme right there.
What's that?
That should be like a meme or something. I mean, that's a very good one. We have to use this as a clip. Um, but the whole success thing, right? That you just shared right there. But it is a big deal, guys. It's a new year, as you said. It's new beginnings, but really it's just a continuation of life. You keep working on yourselves. You keep working on things. As you said, just I use the 5 P's. Prior planning prevents poor performance. So it gives you, all the work you need to do. And you're right. There's no success overnight. I actually had challenged like anyone that had been like overnight, just woke up in the morning, they're successful with that inheritance or some sort of a win of a jackpot. That doesn't exist. At least not that I know of. And maybe somebody can enlighten us and come on and tell us their story, because that will be a unique story. But even that it will be unique, not for everybody else. So we all have to work hard for whatever success that we are. By the way, success means a lot of things for a
It's
lot of
not
different people.
about working hard, it's about working smarter. Because the difference between people that make money and don't make money are the people that think they're going to work their fingers to the bone are not going to become rich. You've got to work with a different mindset. And that mindset is learning how to connect with things that are going to give you greater resources in life. And it's also about embracing the fact that abundance is a mindset. When we come from lack, what do we get? We get more lack.
Not good. All right. Well, so John, can you share with the audiences just like where people can listen and what's going on with you in terms of the media and the shows and where
Yeah,
people
yeah. So lots of stuff going on. And I also joined JAG a few months ago. I'm now one of the people on JAG, which is the Jersey Access TV group. We provide content now to 40 some stations in New Jersey, which is pretty cool. And
so
I've
can
been
people
writing
watch
for
you
them.
there?
I submitted my first 2 articles to them. I write for them now too.
Okay. All right.
But they're like they're like your local TV stations, kind of like your PEG, but they're on the local level, like all New Jersey. There's like 40, 45 cable stations in New Jersey. And I think the biggest thing I want to share with people is the fact that we've got that happening, which you go to believemeachieve.com. Next year, I'm really psyched because we have the kids live interactive STEM, which is coming with a workbook. It's not free, but when you buy a ticket, you get a workbook for basically 2 years, and then you just have to pay like an extra $16 or $18 to get the take-home toy or experiment, and they're really cool experiments. And then we're also kicking off our very first next year. I think it's the 21st or 22nd. We're kicking off our first keynote, and it's balancing the scale of AI's logistics, ethics, technology, and compliance. And we're targeting it toward the medical industry, as we'll be speaking from doctors and hospitals, and we're giving it at a local college next year. So I'm pretty psyched about that, but you can always learn more about what's in my world by just visiting my hat, believemeachieve.com, for more of my inspiring, amazing creations, which, by the way, we're open 24 hours a day, so it doesn't matter what time you're getting up, I'm always on there to give you inspiration.
We're also on TikTok, and you don't stop. You're happening there. You're popping a lot of reels, a lot of nuggets. So again, folks, yeah, please do check out the work and
Check it
yeah.
out, but don't forget to give me some love. Share it, like it, love it, support it. I want to reach 1,000 subscribers on TikTok. I think I'm like 250 right now, so you guys can help me do that. It doesn't cost you anything. A lot of
Isn't
people
that something?
take my content and they repost it, which I'm glad you do that. But if you do that, don't you think I deserve a love and a follow because you took my content and sent it to your followers? Like, don't you think I deserve that? I mean, you're not paying me, but I mean, to say thank you, to show your gratitude for me. Follow me.
That's funny, right? It's amazing how it doesn't cost anything. You like something, you show that love. You click that heart business there, and you just share it. If you think there's value, you repost it if you have to. If you think that it's going to be, helping others, nothing wrong with that. Follow for more content. I mean, everybody says that. I'm not a big fan about saying, "Hey, please follow me, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe." Although that works as a strategy, YouTubers will tell you you got to do that so you can, click so you can get the next, you get more and more and more, but I believe that if you see something that is of value, you just basically take it, make it yours, and share with others. This is what it's for. It's not for us, and that's the other thing. Sometimes people may think like if I do that, you're gonna make money somehow. If the money that will be there will be the greatest thing. I mean, yes, some people have become millionaires through social media and stuff, but some few, and then there's different types of content that can get you there, and that's okay. But the bottom line, as you said, you're not asking for millions. You're asking for a couple hundred people to like and follow and share. Don't be stingy, folks, with clicking that button. I mean, that's all there is. Help, and you'll get more. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, there's time that takes place. That's taken, and time is the most valuable. I guess commodity that we all have. And so when someone puts in real content and spends time to develop a show or anything that is going to bring some resource and information that is people can say, well, I can go to Google and YouTube. Well, there you go. If you say YouTube, then somebody is watching somebody's creation, or at least work, right? But if you go to Google, that's also somebody's information that's there. So at the end of the day, somebody's working to get you that information. So hey, help out. Why not join? Share the love. There's nothing wrong. It's the holidays, folks. At least for those that are in the States. And by the way, it should be a holiday every day, everywhere. So enjoy yourselves and have fun and be good to each other. Let's make some nice little vibes here and give some positive energy to the world. So, all right, man.
I think that's the magic thing is that everyone's just got to like realize it. But I do want to share one piece, which is kind of a pet peeve, but I want to share this with you guys. So when somebody posts this content, whether it's technology content, don't diss the content by posting about something so unrelated. Or, for example, I get these things about a tech issue that comes up. Oh, you have to go, you have to go talk to my friend. And the first thing I do is I tell them that that's unprofessional. And then I report the content for being what we call fake engagement. So fake engagement is when you post something with the intention to get someone to go to another page with no intention to even support your content. Every time I've reported somebody that's posted fake engagement, every single time on TikTok, I got a message back. Thank you for reporting that. We have found that it does go against our terms and conditions, and the person's content has been removed. Now, I removed it already, but so when you're doing that, and you're actually hurting yourself, it's like a ding in the credit when you do that. So don't do that, guys. I know it sounds great, but you're just hurting yourself. And you're hurting your friend because they're going to get dinged too.
Well, John, on to that effect, I mean, folks, it's very simple. We all have the same access, right? We all have TikTok and all the social media platforms. Stuff. You look, you see a reel that you like it or share it. Otherwise, you don't. You move up, and that's it. I don't go. And if you like something, you comment positively. Some people go literally make it their time and value to go in and spend extra, stuff to make a nasty comment on the feed. Like, wow,
Yep.
you just wasted your time. You know, I will just delete it and it won't have any effect on anything, and that's it, right? And as you said, you could be reported. What's the point? Some people go in and talk about like, you're looking at this, they miss the whole core of the discussion. They talk about something totally irrelevant, as you said.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk to my friend who sells curtains. What does that have to do with the price of wheat? I told you about the guy, last story, I know we have to run. There was a guy, I was posting an article about that I wrote about AI milking the female cow using AI technology. So basically, it learns all about the cow's health and everything. It's a very big business for cows, the people that get milk from them. So this guy was posting that he's looking for employees, different things. And I'm like, dude, like, I didn't say anything to him, but I can't believe he did this. So I'm like, who is this guy? So I decided to check into like what he does. Maybe he doesn't know, right? So I never comment back to call him out because that would be pretentious. Didn't do that. But I wanted to find out who this guy was. Turns out he is one of the directors of a large marketing company. So I don't say anything to him. Don't say anything to the company. I said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you today about a topic that is inspired to me because of someone who's the head of a large marketing company that did something that really shows how they have no clue. And after I posted this whole thing in this video, guess what happened? He stopped commenting on my videos with the crap. I didn't call him out, but he knew what I was doing. I didn't actually say his name. I just said, you know who you are, right? Just knock it off. And I had a guy, and this is what I was going to tell you before, but we lost the track. How would you like this? I made a comment on social media, which I do a lot. And some of my content is, I won't say it's got any kind of like controversy sometimes. But there was something about AI. I told people AI is not good. It's not bad. It's a tool, right? It's how we choose to use it that makes it so, just like a weapon. Well, this guy was coming after me. So much that for 60 days, he was calling me and breathing on my phone every day at the office, leaving me voicemails. So we blocked his number. He changed it. He went through like 50 different phone numbers. Finally, the day after Thanksgiving, we won. We blocked every single phone number in his exchange. Because there's nobody that we want to call us from that exchange anyway. We're in upstate New York. And he would just call 4 or 5 times a day.
About what?
Just calling and breathing on our voicemail. We already blocked him so he couldn't call us and talk to us live. But he kept leaving messages on our voicemail, and we kept getting emails about those, and that was annoying.
Well, it is a form of harassment, bullying, and we can go on. Now, just what people don't realize, folks, there are, social media content creators, but there's also journalists and press and other agencies and media companies. That we are media companies. We are actually press. And so here's the thing: somebody wants to play that game, we can call you out, and we will push you out. I mean, we really can. Listen, as you said, we're maybe going viral because of somebody that wants to play games. It's not a threat or anything, but folks, when you go into these things, do you want your name to be out there, or you can't? Unless it's a fake account. If you really are a serious person, you need to know where you.
Well, they had a warrant. I found out he was arrested 3 times. I did some digging on him, and I was very close. If this didn't work after Thanksgiving, I was going to file a formal police complaint that would have been served to the police department in the state, which was about 4 or 5 hours from me. And it was a town that the cop even told me, we use horse and buggies and cow and horses to ride around and give tickets. We don't really have many cars in our town.
Nice.
And so this guy had been arrested twice in the last 4 years, and he's out again.
Okay.
And so,
John, it's your luck, man. Out of all the people, that's the one you had to get.
And this guy, but we had to block every single phone number within a certain 3-digit exchange of 518. He just kept getting disposed every number. I'm like, I'm just going to block every number that this agency that he's getting from.
And 518 is not Albany, New York?
There's a certain exchange of 518. We blocked that whole exchange in Stockton, New York, which was a real, bug county up there. And it was just crazy. And this happened because one of 2 things happened. Either he didn't like that comment, or somebody emailed me. Don't scrape people's emails, guys, from LinkedIn. That's really bad. And so he scraped the email. He went to my personal email. And you know what I did? Because I warned him not to do that, right? Within 4 hours, I shut his whole domain down. So he was not happy with me, but I asked him to please stop emailing me 3 times. And by the end of the day, his whole domain didn't work anymore. So he was pissed at me.
Well, it does have to get to this level, folks. I mean, this is the part. It gets sometimes too crazy, too serious. When you watch TV, right? Do you go after all the channels and all the cable stations that are out there? No. I mean, you watch, you don't like, scroll down. There are thousands of apps out there on your smart TV. There's thousands of channels that you can flip, up and down. You look at content, you don't like it, you flick up and down, and that's it. Same thing here. Why do you people take it so extreme? It's not even funny. I mean, it's like, why? I don't see the reason for it, but that's just me. And
they have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, is what they have. HH.
Yeah. I guess we can have a show about that with them. And that's the other thing, folks. If you have something like that, come on to the show. What you can come on John's show or mine and or any other show and talk about it. Let's I mean, we literally, if you look at the ticker here, I mean, you can see that we actually give the link. You can come on and have a discussion, just like when people go on TikTok Live. People can actually chime in. You request to go in, and you can set up your opinion. Now, of course, you have to be respectful, safe, and stuff, and don't cut any cross the line, because then you'll have documented bad things that will be against you.
We
But yeah,
had somebody doing that for a while, and this is the reason why we no longer stream to Twitch anymore. The
oh,
people on Twitch, uh, they're like so messed up. A lot of the people, and you had people that were just being downright rude, and they were cursing, and we always would screen them. But finally, I said, you know what? We made a decision. I think it was the first of last year. We don't need Twitch anymore. We're just getting people that are harassing us. Why do we want to be on their platform? So we just eliminated them.
there you go. Again, there is content where it allows for that. There's content that doesn't allow for that. I mean, but again, people say, "Well, it's my love, my opinion. I could do whatever I want. I can say whatever I want." That is true, but this is our house. You crashing our party, so therefore we have jurisdiction here. So that's the part that you have to realize. Like I don't go in somebody's place and start getting at them and making comments and stuff. Like I said, if I don't like stuff, I move up and down. I don't have to even entertain them. They don't exist, which is fine. But if I like something, I'll follow them. I'll share their stuff, because they're out there sharing good stuff. Let's share the wealth, the love, and whatever it is. So whatever content that we feel good. Listen, this goes back to one thing: we should do better. We should be better people and interact with each other better. And frankly, I mean, we do a lot of psychiatry, discussions and mental health stuff. Anyone that actually does these things, maybe, I would say, at least based on what I know, there might be reasons to seek some assistance, and maybe, have a little bit of a, discussion with a specialist, because that's an outburst of whatever it is that you're holding within. Maybe
there's a great guy who's a resident psychologist on one of my shows, and he came with a very, very unique thing. I bring him on a couple times a year, and he came with a very interesting thing, and it is called odor. I'm not sure if you've heard of it before. Now, it's not odor like BO odor or something like that. And have you ever heard of odor before?
I think I did. I can't tell you what that is, but I know I've recently, there's something, I think on your show or somewhere else, I've kind of seen it.
Yeah. So odor is this. Basically, what he's talking about is the whole concept of basically, online defense dictates offline response.
Ooh, now
Okay.
that's deep. Okay, hit me.
So,
Tell me more. Tell me more. I know we got to wrap it up, but yeah,
yeah, I know we did.
this is getting exciting.
Yeah. So just so basically, what it means is that when somebody does something right in one jurisdiction, what happens is it affects another part of them.
Mm.
And so when you think about this whole concept of odor, right, you're probably saying, well, gee, it's a smell, and it's not. It has to do with somebody's behavior, basically, okay? And so when somebody is a certain way, let's say, online, then that permeates into their real life. So if we
Yeah, it's their
recognize
character.
the signs, what's that?
It's their characters, who they are. Offline, online is the same.
Even if they have a different identity online, it still permeates through.
Their behavior. That's their energy. And by the way, again, they do that because it's a lot easier to do stuff online that you could do in real time, right? So you can hide behind the fake name and the fake account, and and play games and stuff. It's like a little easier to do that than you would do it. And believe it or not, I mean, we in the States, we are a little loose on when it comes to online rules and regulations. I mean, there are countries that limit if you say the wrong things or whatever, and especially if your face is clear. I mean, you can be prosecuted, you can have fines, you can have jail time. There's all kind of stuff that can go on, and some there are places where influencers have to register and get certified as influencers online. So again, it depends where you are part of the world, but at the end of the day, again, respect is the best thing, and really being kind is the next better thing. It's just that.
Absolutely. You've got to be kind. That is a very, very key thing, everyone. Very, very key.
Well, so on that note, we'll keep the kindness and respect, as our vibe and energy for the remainder of this year, and definitely, we can bring the new year.
And it'll be a big kickoff for next year. So, during the holidays, maybe do something nice for someone. Beside holding a door, spend some time with someone, an older person, or maybe write a card. Do something nice for someone, because not only will you be doing something nice for them, but it's actually going to boomerang back, and you're going to feel just as good as well.
All right, I think that's our cue here, John.
That's
What do you
the
think?
cue.
We wrap it up.
We got a wrap, H. So have everyone very happy, healthy holidays. Don't eat too many cookies, too many sweets. Do that in moderation. And I hope that you will set some good promises for 2025. And I wish you guys nothing but the best in health, happiness, prosperity, abundance, and peace and tranquility for an amazing 2025.
And I, Hurricane H, will echo that as well. And again, happy holidays, happy New Year. And we'll see you early on the new year, hopefully a more productive year with plenty of success and wealth and health and happiness and everything else, as John stated. That being said, I think we're wrapping it up. I'm John. I'm in Hurricane H. Bye for now. By the way, I am John.
Serial entrepreneur, and do check out believemeachieve.com, because we'll be cranking all through the holidays. Be sure to check out my fentanyl video about why you should not take free money. It's coming out very soon.
Yeah, you want to check that out. That's cool stuff. All right. Bye, everyone.
Good night, everyone.